What can I say, the previous episode went so well that today we're gonna read more bad Steam reviews, and I will try to give more useful information using them. So, without further ado, let's go into the reviews of Fear and Hunger! Just as I said previous time, this is not meant to bring hate to someone, there will be no names, and it's just to have a little bit of fun and maybe explain some useful information. So, without further ado, let's start. And as the previous time, we start with something that is actually not completely stupid, on the other hand, it's actually quite intelligent. In fact, in this bad review, there is actually one of the biggest complaints that I think is very reasonable about Fear and Hunger. In fact, he says, "Issue I have is running the program and the bugs located within the game that have screwed over my character. Considering this was released in 2018 and using 90s style graphics, it shouldn't be quite horrendous. And this one, I can confirm 100%, is one of the best arguments you can have against Fear and Hunger. I myself am making a bug fix mod for Fear and Hunger, and I already corrected almost 50 bugs on it, and it's still not even half probably. And the fact that the developer is focused on Termina right now means the situation will not improve anytime soon, except for fan-based content of course, such as my mod. But apart from that, yes, pretty valid argument. And another decent example of a bad review is this one, 3.2 hours played, so not exactly 1 minute, and it says, "If you are into RPGs with fairly low stakes, this game is not for you. The game is really hard, especially because you can't really save your game effectively." We're gonna discuss this later. Overall, the game just wasn't really for me, but that's not because it's a bad game, it's because I don't really like ultra hard games. And the things he is saying are absolutely not stupid. It's true, this game requires time in order to be understood. You have to dedicate hours with the possibility of also having to die and restart over and over from the save point. I just want to tell you something, just in case you may want to retry the game. As I said in the previous review episode, there are guaranteed ways to save the game. One time for free in the Chromolar bed in the basement, and infinite times in the Tower of the Endless in Mahabre. Other than that, you can just kill all the enemies in one floor in order to get a guaranteed bad save spot. But now let's go to the next one, where we actually start to have some complications, I should say. So, 0.4 hours played. You know, game is good with visual and atmosphere, but the settings and key binding is bad. I was not able to make full screen mode on this game. But then he actually says something important. In fighting, you cannot choose which part of the body hit properly. For example, when I try to damage the leg of the enemy, it always showed to damage torso. And this is a very important bug that I think you guys should know, because it may completely ruin your experience. So basically, sometimes you will notice you will not be able to attack other parts of an enemy. That's because of your of your mouse cursor. When this happens, try to move your mouse cursor on the enemy and then move it to the side of the screen. And then try to select once again the other parts of the enemy. Or even better, just use the mouse to selection them. Because, yeah, actually there is the possibility of aiming at the body parts of the enemy using the mouse. But it's something a little bit weird, and honestly my opinion could also be removed because it creates more problems than anything else. Oh, and yeah, remember that to put full screen you just have to click F4. But playtime's over! Now we go all in with very particular reviews. Are you ready? 1 hour of playtime. Maybe the dumbest game I've ever played. Tried the tutorial on easy wait, the tutorial? And got killed by dogs every time. Please. Don't tell me you thought you were meant to fight the dogs right at the start of the game. If anything... Okay, let's talk about this, okay? Because I saw a lot of confusion on this point, and I just want to let you understand, guys. Yes, okay. We can consider the dogs a tutorial, but not a fighting tutorial. If anything, the dogs are supposed to let you understand a lot of other different mechanics. First of all, the importance of time. Even when you stand still, time passes, mind goes down, hunger goes down, a lot of different events happen, then you'll be able to notice for the first time the writing in the lowest part of the screen, which is gonna be important later on for other things. Then the dogs arrive, and what do you learn? That you have to fight them 5 times until you win? No! You learn that you don't have to fight necessarily enemies. This is pretty similar to what happened in Dark Souls 1 with the first encounter with the Asylum Demon, or if we go to 2022, even in Elden Ring with the Tree Sentinel at the start of the game, you can fight it at the start of the game. But why would you even do that except if you want a sort of difficulty? The point that I want to make is you cannot ignore everything the game is trying to tell you and pretend it's the game's fault. I mean, you literally tried 5 times, as you said. Never in one of those 5 times you tried to do something different, I don't know, enter inside of the main entrance or on the side entrance before doing anything else, or before the dogs appearing or something. Because I want to explain you, if you're playing on Fear and Hunger difficulty, you're allowed to go everywhere without problems, but if they spawn in the entrance and you enter inside of the main entrance of the dungeon, they are soon gonna follow you. If you're playing on Terror and Starvation difficulty or hard mode instead, it doesn't matter if they already spawned. If you enter through the main entrance, they are soon gonna follow you regardless, so it's safer to go to the side entrance in that case. Also, I have another interesting review for the dogs. Are you ready? 0.2 hours of playtime at the moment of the review. Start game, loot crates, attacked by dogs, immediately die. And now, are you ready? Are you ready? Because I go. Oh my god, you guys, it's so hard, just like the Dark Souls. Oh my god, square. Square? What does square mean? I don't think I even need to comment this review. We already talked about the dogs in the previous one. I just wanted to show it to you, and there is not even anything interesting to discuss about, so let's move on. For the next one, I have a theory, but this is pure speculation, okay? Because we have no more information from it. So, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Are you ready? 0.3 hours of playtime. I've died to every encounter so far, and 50% of my attacks just miss. Mind you that I'm playing on the easiest difficulty. That's just bad game design, and it is not at all fun. I can't progress past the first couple rooms. As someone who is used to play harder games like FromSoft titles and Darkest Dungeon, I do not recommend. The difficulty on this game is just unfair. Now, tell me, because I repeat, this is just my pure speculation, tell me you didn't just try to attack the head of everyone. Because if you don't know, guys, I want to explain this. Heads usually have more, or at least 50% more evasion than other body parts. And the fact that he's saying he missed 50% of the attacks, I think just makes me presume that he always tried to attack the head without ever changing his plan by, I don't know, you know, destroying the cleaver arm of the guard or something. But I repeat, I may be wrong. But let's do something, okay? In case you actually missed normally, that's a very low chance. And you're saying that you're used to play harder games like FromSoft titles and Darkest Dungeon. Huh, you played Darkest Dungeon. So it never happened to you that, for example, I don't know, some enemies randomly crit you and kill you? And yet that doesn't count as bad game design? Well, probably the enemies in Fear and Hunger are much easier than the enemies in Darkest Dungeon? But I repeat, this is just my speculation. In the first case, he always attacked heads and never tried to do something different. In the other case, he was just very, very unlucky, and yet he played Darkest Dungeon. And now we have the last review, which both contains very good elements and very bad elements. Are you ready? 16.5 hours of playtime. So finally a seasoned player, we may say. I cannot recommend this game, and I believe anybody who can is delusional. Did you hear that, you people? Have you ever played Fear and Hunger? Have you ever suggested it to someone, or at least told about it to someone? Yes, you are delusional. Just stop talking about it and never suggest it again. To say Fear and Hunger punishes you for mistakes could not be more dishonest. It punishes you for anything and everything, and leaves every aspect of the game up to randomness. I mean, to an extent, we may say that it's true, but I mean, it doesn't change too much from normal RPGs. You know, there is a chance of missing attack, there is a chance of causing a status effect. Let's continue. Random coin flips, random chance of escaping encounters. random limb loss, etc. I just said the thing about the random probability of putting status effects such as limb loss. Majority of the enemies has 100% limb loss on their attack, no worries, for example the guard cleaver. But regardless of that, what do you mean with the random chance of escaping encounters? I mean, that's normal RPG thing? Do you want 100% chance of escaping? Why even put in battles if you can escape from everything? Should you just make battles you can't escape from? Then wouldn't that be unfair? Having only battles you can't escape from or something? You know what's the point? It's the same thing that happened with the saving with the coin flip. Just because there is the possibility of using coin flips and the random chance to gain an advantage, doesn't mean you have to do it. Just because there is the run option, doesn't mean you have to run. You can learn the enemy and fight it. Just because there are the coin flips on the bed, doesn't mean you have to risk it. You can kill all the enemies in the floor, use the one in the chromolar bed, etc. You don't need to rely on the coin flips. Do you understand? The coin flips are there for afterwards, in case you don't want to have a consistent plan. And you may say, how does someone know this? Experimentation. But then, this reviewer actually says something very important. Couple this arduous experience with terrible frame drops in certain areas, spelling errors through the entire game, and random softlocks, i.e. your screen freezing, and you have a very unique experience. Yeah, I gotta be honest. Unfortunately, there are a lot of zones, especially Mahabre and the Green Who zone, and a lot of others if you have a not exactly good PC, in which your frame rate is just gonna drop immediately to 15 or 14 FPS, and the spelling errors are present in the game, we cannot deny this, and it's probably one of the most reasonable complaints someone can have about the game. Punishes me for my mistakes? The only mistake I made was buying this unpolished mess of a game. You are better off watching a YouTube video of the story analysis endings if you're interested. Don't waste your money on this. I mean, yeah, you can, but why would you be interested if you don't even want to play the game? I don't know. But maybe in this case, that's just me not understanding this concept. But anyways, as I always say, remember, I don't do this to bring hate. I don't do this because I think my opinion is the only one that counts. I'm just showing you the review, and I'm saying the things that I think are a little bit weird or correct about those. You can still completely disagree.
But if you try to disagree with me on the dogs one, I think it's partially your fault.